Hello, hello, everybody. We're getting ready to do Heart Talk. I'll be live on the air, but you can also watch me right here on the stream live on YouTube. Yeah, we're about to get started. All right, we'll be getting started shortly. The Heart Coach with Heart Connections. I want to invite you to tune in to my All right, all right. You are tuned into Heart Connections with your heart coach, Adelai Brown, right here on kinetichifi.com. It is time for Heart Talk. It's 11:31, and you are right here getting ready to get your heart restored and your mind renewed. Have you guys been enjoying this music? I know I have. And guess what? I have some more great music coming up for you guys, so make sure you stick around. And make sure you're letting everyone you know about kinetichifi.com. We're so excited and thankful to be here. This segment of Heart Talk, this is the talk portion of our radio show. In this segment, is brought to you by my new book, Help Save Me from My Broken Heart, Your Journey to Living and Loving Again. This book will be released this spring, and you can pre-order your copy right now at theheartconnections.com. Theheartconnections.com. Today's the day of revitalization and the week of heart healing on Monday, enlightenment on Tuesday, authenticity on Wednesday, which was yesterday, and today we're talking about revitalization, which means to bring about new life and vitality. I want to talk a little bit on this Heart Talk segment about what revitalization is not. I want you to think about that, what it is not. Because I think a lot of times what we do is we find ourselves in a situation where we are not we're not consciously sabotaging ourselves, but definitely subconsciously. And I want you to think about your own life. If you think about the idea of bringing about new life and bringing about vitality, the continuous of life, I want you to think about some of the opposites. To the opposite of revitalize is to destroy, to damage, to hurt, to kill, ruin, depress, discourage, dissuade, to halt or stop. When we think about the whole heart process, what we need to keep in mind is that in this heart process, when we decide we're going to heal, when we say we're going to heal, we take that first step. We open the door to enlightenment, to authenticity in our lives, and that brings about revitalization, which means those areas that were dead, those things that were broken and not working properly, that were damaged or destroyed, now have a chance at new life, now have a chance at being restored. But many of us have been so broken, so damaged, so hurt, so discouraged that many of us don't even believe that we can be revitalized. Don't even believe it, not even open to the thought or the idea. And I want to encourage you. I also want to remind you guys that we are live on YouTube. If you're at your desktop, if you're tuning in, you want to see me and see what's going on in the studio, you can go to The Heart Connections. You can look up The Heart Connections and you see me live. Yeah, so we're talking about the opposite of revitalization, which is the to break, damage, dull, hurt, ruin. Let's talk a little bit about dullness. To be revitalized is to be excited, to be livened, to be joy, to be joyful. When something is revitalized, it's fresh, it's new. One of the things that I want you to think about in your life, you may be fighting a good fight, but do you feel dull in your life? Think about a knife that's dull. I think many of us are living dull lives, meaning we know what the function is, but because we're not being sharpened properly, we're not working properly. That's why we need to go through this heart process. We need to be exposed to healing and be enlightened in that process and go through authenticity, because the more authentic we are, the more sharp we are, the more real we are, not with ourselves and also with others. So you may have experienced ruin and all of those other things in your life, and you've come a long way. But my question is, are you still dull? Have you been have you been wounded or damaged by the things that have happened in the past, and you're taking little steps, but you know you can do a lot more. It's time to be revitalized. I want you to pay attention to the brokenness, the damage, the destruction that has taken place in your life, the things that have taken place, and the damage that has happened to your soul. And I want you to understand that it's not your fault. It did not have to happen that way. But the fact remains is it did. It did happen that way, and you need to be revitalized. That's why you need to go through this process. You need to go through this heart process. You need to allow yourself to overcome. But the only way we can overcome something, we have to first confront it, acknowledge that it even exists. And those are some of the steps that I work through with my clients when I work one-on-one, and plan to do a group program in this spring, late spring. I'll be doing some things to let you guys know about it, because I know people need help with this. People, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored in the Lord. And I am praise the Lord, everybody. And oh, I'm so blessed. And I thank God he's so good to me. Dying on the inside, absolutely dealing with destruction, and maybe moving physically, but have stopped in the spirit or emotions because of the pain, the damage, the destruction, the dullness. Has your foot ever fallen asleep? Are you someone who ever had to deal with neurological issues to know how it feels when your foot goes dead? The term when your nerves, I guess, you don't feel a sensation in your foot. It's hard to walk. It feels like your leg is almost like putty. Many of us are living our lives like this. We're going through numb. And we need to realize that it is our time to be revitalized. Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to open up to it? What has the destruction done in your life? What type of damage has been caused? What, not just to you, what about your family members, those surrounding you, your spouse or your significant other? What about your children? Have your children been damaged and broken and hurt in the process of you going through your stuff and trying to figure out your life and you wanting to heal? I My heart is like it's going out. I've been encountering people and experiencing things, and I realize that we need love. Like we really need love. We don't need to we don't need to be in a space where we're trying to get more of anything else but love. God is love. And that love gives life. It revitalizes us. It gives us vitality. I want you to acknowledge the destruction that's been caused. I want you to acknowledge the damage that's still there. We live in an area where hurricanes come, and I'm from an area in Charleston called James Island. Shout out to all my JI, Anyways, um, all of my islanders, y'all know what it is. And there was a hurricane Hugo back. I think Hugo was 20, almost 28 years ago, and it came in 89. There was a boat that was moved by Hugo and moved from the dock and placed like right on the side of the road. And now they use that boat as like a sign, a banner. People put things there and things of that nature. But every time I see it, it reminds me of the power of that storm. And it reminds me of the power of what nature can do, of what God can do. And I'm thinking about this because I feel like many of us have been shaken up. We have been damaged or hurt or dropped, inappropriately placed in places, or sat in places where it seems like we can't be functional. But in this season of revitalization, just like that boat, it was placed someplace where it couldn't easily go out to water its intended purpose. So what they did was they flipped it around and used it for another reason, as a sign, as a banner. And it's sweet to see. It's something I see tourists taking pictures with it in the background and things like that. And I'm bringing this up because I look at that as God allowing those, whoever the owner of the boat was, the community, to be revitalized by being able to look at something that was destroyed, something that was broken, something that was dulled or seemed to be ruined, and he gave it new life. He gave it a new meaning and new form. And I want you to think about your life right now and realize that you may feel like you're just too damaged and you just can't do it, or you're too broken and things. You just feel destroyed. You're hurt. You're confused and you don't know what to do. I want you to know you can still be revitalized as long as you're here. As long as you choose to wake up and keep going every day, you can experience that renewal. You can experience that vitality. You can have all of that in your life, but you have to be willing to heal. You have to be willing to expose yourself. You have to be willing to open yourself up to whatever it is that God is calling you to do. Because see, the opposite of that would be, in the health term, they use a term called necrosis. So if you're not living and being revitalized and full of vitality and life, another form of that in your body, when your cells aren't living, it's called necrosis. And necrosis is the death of most or all of the cells in an organ or tissue due to disease, injury, or failure of the blood supply. Many of us can relate to that in our spirit and our soul. We may not be experiencing necrosis. I worked with a vascular practice, and they dealt with a lot of necrosis. They dealt with a lot of death because people were not receiving, the blood was not flowing to their extremities, to their legs and to their hands and feet. So a lot of people we saw had necrosis. They came in literally with dead portions of flesh on their bodies, some of their toes and legs and things like that. And I think about one particular patient that was experiencing death in his limbs, and he was going in to have an amputation. And he prayed and he believed. And right before he was getting ready to go into surgery, when the surgeon was getting ready to do the last test to check the circulation started again. He was revitalized. He prayed and he believed, and a miracle happened. Right before he was getting ready to get his legs cut off, the blood started to flow again. So what am I saying? You may be experiencing necrosis in your life right now. Maybe it feels like your relationships have died. Maybe you feel like your essence is something died when a loved one died, or something died when you were raped or molested. Something died when you were disappointed on the inside of you, and you feel like maybe I can't get that back. I want you to know that you can. I want you to know that you can get it back. You can have new life and vitality. You can have it all. You just have to be willing to heal. You have to be willing to open yourself up to it. That is not always easy, but it's definitely necessary if you want to avoid necrosis, avoid the death to most or all of your soul, of your heart. That's why so many of us are frustrated and angry. It's not because of other people, it's because of the pain that we're feeling. And I want you revitalized. I want you feeling better. So think about that. This has been Heart Talk with your heart coach, Adelai Brown, right here on kinetichifi.com. Make sure you pre-order your copy of Help Save Me from My Broken Heart, Your Journey to Living and Loving Again. You can get your copy at theheartconnections.com. And we're talking about revitalization. So what better way to do that than to think about the power of love? And who better to help us with that than the Isley brothers, living for the love of you? What you know about that? Right here on Heart Connections with your heart coach, Adelai Brown, kinetichifi.com. This is going out to you, Errol. That's LG's baby. So she said that's his song. So we're sending this out to him. Kai High Five.